Hello everyone, and welcome to the Lonely House of Neverwinter. Thank you for joining us for an evening of Dungeons & Dragons. I'm Sean and I will be your Dungeon Master tonight. We're excited to be streaming at twitch.tv/RollTogetherRPG. For those who are new to Dungeons & Dragons, everyone here plays fantasy characters in a fantasy universe. The 5 players each have their own unique character sheet with the character sheets that tell them who they are, what they can do, deepest secrets, what dice to roll, etc., etc. They will mostly be rolling this. I haven't got one to hand. Someone got a D20?
Yep, got a big one.
A D20, which is 20-sided dice, which tells them what they succeed in, what they're trying to do, 20 being extremely, extremely good, 1 being awfully, horrifically bad. We don't want many of them. We want lots of the former, unless, of course, hilarity is what you wish. And whilst they play their characters, everything else in said fantasy universe is played by me. People, monsters, the ever-present despondent milieu, etc., etc.
Go on.
Between me describing the world and story, the players describing what they want to do in it, and some dice rolls to keep things unpredictable even for us, we will tell our story. Speaking of our players, let's talk to them. Today, we're going to go around in character class order according to the player's handbook.
Ooh.
So that means... Lola?
Who's playing the dog?
Oh, you take.
To be fair, that is so appropriate. It is so appropriate for a druid.
Yeah.
Wild shape.
Wild shaped already. You now got... No. Yeah, Sawaski, as our resident druid, you are going first tonight.
Right.
So you can kick us off with character name, class, race, and something exciting that happened to you last week.
Right. Well, my name's Lola, and my pronouns are they, she. My character is Sawaski, and their pronouns are they, them. They are a tiefling Circle of Stars druid, and yeah, they got bitten by a Vargwheel last week, and that could be a lot worse than they think.
I mean, you know, only the dice will tell, and maybe cruel position in a position of power that they shouldn't be in. Something like that. John, Juliet, I believe, as Paladin, is next alphabetically.
Hello, everybody. I am John. My pronouns are he, him. I am playing Juliet de Cliderer, who is using she, her pronouns, and she is an Oath of Redemption paladin. So yeah, she's really like looking for the good in people, trying to make sure that the reason you become a necrotic, terrible nightmare is that that's what you want to do in your life, and you're succeeding in that. The Vargwheel she met last week, she cut into them several pieces because they just weren't fulfilling their destiny. And that's how we roll.
Lovely. So from our paladin to our ranger, Chris, would you introduce yourself?
Oh, I mean, I thought I was playing the ever-present despondent milieu or whatever you said.
No, very much me.
Okay, my name's Chris. I use they, them pronouns. I'm playing Murine, who also uses they, them pronouns, and they are a rat folk, which it's a goblin. They are a rat folk ranger, and they did some cool, as someone else described, cool ninja shit to some Vargwheel last time, which was pretty cool. I think my favourite moment was when they tried to get one of their swarm of rats to stealth and give some notes back, and it was not helpful. Not helpful at all. On my list of rats, and I do have a list of rats in this character, just so we're all aware, I have put down under my list of rats that Stuart should not be allowed to scout. Now we all know.
I think we found that out in Flustered in the Feywild as well. Stewards don't make good scouts. No,
it wasn't Stuart. Stuart was great. Ted was a terrible scout.
I'm really hoping there comes a time when you have to list all of your rats.
I've got them written down. I mean, I've got loads. I've put down like 100 names just in case.
I mean, it was me hoping for at least one for every letter of the alphabet.
Oh, it's more complex than that. There is a naming convention and everything.
forward to that.
I work from home.
David, Eltrion, our sorcerer.
Yes, I am indeed, as Sean said, David, pronouns he, him. Eltrion is indeed a sorcerer, pronouns also he, him. An aberrant mind psionicist sorcerer who has had some fun just kind of messing with people a little bit in a nice, friendly sort of way, and has just discovered a cloak which might be healing an Illithid inflicted injury. But I don't think he's noticed whether it is or not yet anyway, so that could be fun.
Excellent. Well, I'm sure we'll get onto that soon. And last but by no means least, Liz, would you, as our warlock, finish up?
Yes. Hello, my name's Liz. I use she, they pronouns, and I'm playing Barley the warlock who uses she pronouns. Barley, I think, is having a good time. She's found out many things. She's found out what a street is, because we all need to know what one of those is. She's also found some new friends, which I think is pretty cool. I think she was hoping, there was a lot of hope when she came to this city. She was hoping to rid herself of all of the voices in her head, and I don't think that quite worked out. But she's planted some seeds, so she's happy. As for the fight with the Bargreal, I don't think she really remembers a lot of it. But that's all I'm going to say for now.
In a classic warlock move, you did Eldritch Blast one in the face, so...
As is tradition, and I hope to do it again.
Where else do you blast a Vargwheel out of interest?
A wing?
It's sense of entitlement.
Screaming, horrific vocal cordless mouth.
Wow.
Thank you. The tone of this campaign is dark, and shall get be progressively darker as the days wane on through the year. Anywho, this stream will run for 3 hours, and there will be a roughly 5-10 minute break somewhere near the middle. We can't say exactly when, as we are making it up as we go along. So, on to our sponsors. We are delighted to be sponsored by Hero Forge. Hero Forge offers fully customizable tabletop miniatures with dozens of fantasy races and thousands of parts to choose from. Their easy-to-use design tool lets you build your perfect miniature online using a fully 3D, in-depth character creator right in your web browser. Hero Forge is constantly expanding the catalogue of customization options, so there's always something new to check out at heroforge.com. And mini plug, you can also watch me making some things through forging the characters, which I think was released last Friday to us now. No, 2 Fridays ago from us now.
Time is an illusion.
That's true. for us today, but for you in the past, and for other people tomorrow.
I think it's fair to say that the minis are currently on screen. You can see them rotating, and Sean made all of them.
You all start. Let's get this right. You all started them. I just tweaked. So for this particular video, I tweaked. Sometimes I get to make them from scratch. We're also delighted to be sponsored by Ultra Pro. So you can get your tabletop organized with character folios and dice bags. Ultra Pro is the leading manufacturer and supplier of gaming collectibles, accessories, and other paraphernalia. Join us in the Twitch chat today to win a gift voucher. Just say something, anything, about people that you like on screen or off screen. I mean, just maybe not nasty things, but nice things. We are also sponsored by the wonderful Elderwood Academy, who are the premium purveyors of bespoke gaming-themed gear, including hex, chest, dice boxes, spellbook, deck box, rolling trays disguised as bespoke ancient arcane tomes, and scroll and codex dice towers and rolling tray pairings. Try saying that 5 times fast. I shall not. You can currently get 10% off your Elderwood purchase with the code roll-together at the checkout. I think all in caps. Try it both ways. Roll the dice. Find out more at elderwoodacademy.com. In addition to our sponsors, we're supported by a number of others. First, we have D&D Beyond, your guide to digital D&D, and you can see everyone's character sheets on the overlay on the left-hand side of the screen. I believe left-hand. We are also supported by Level Up Dice. There's a link in chat for the Table Shakers range. And someone has Chris, there you go, a Table Shaker, which is a mahoosive metal beastie that makes a nice, satisfying thunk. And if you're unlucky, a dent.
Oh, shit.
Unlucky. So, last but by no means least, we're supported by two lovely D&D video games, Idle Champions of the Forgotten Realms and Warriors of Waterdeep. You can see some codes at the bottom of the screen, running around somewhere there. You can type in !Idle Champions and !Warriors of Waterdeep into the Twitch chat for download links. And for Idle Champions, there's a code that you can directly enter into the game, or type !code into the Twitch chat for a gold chest. While for Warriors of Waterdeep, you can type !wow gems into the Twitch chat for a link, which you can then click on the device that you use to play Warriors of Waterdeep to redirect you to a website, which redirects you to the app, which redirects you to a pile of gems. Lovely, lovely. We are Roll Together RPG on all socials. There will be links in chat. Thank you, mods, for bringing those up now for us. Do like, follow, subscribe, heart, and thumbs up, emoji, all sorts of things. A massive thank you to our D20 Club on Patreon. You can find a link in chat. Help us make our shows from just £1 or $1 or one of your local currency, and unlock more tiers by joining. Our shows are also available as podcasts. Just search Roll Together RPG on your favorite podcasting app, and you can find us to listen on as as you all want to do, while you do all sorts of other exciting household chores. Finally, we play with a diverse group of players who play a diverse set of characters with wide-ranging sexual and gender identities. Our tables are trans and GNC positive, and we encourage and champion trans and GNC players and characters in our games. The district attorney and our players may portray characters that are of a different gender to their own. We aim to avoid misgendering, but acknowledge that it does happen, and we have a company policy in place for correcting people on pronouns. If we miss an instance of misgendering, we are open to being corrected, so please do let us know, and if you think we've missed one, we are more than happy for you to do so. And with all that said, I think it's time for us to begin. Welcome back, everyone. Hope you enjoyed our lovely intro. So, last week, we opened up by meeting each of our characters. We had Barley coming in from the Neverwinter woods to the southeast of Neverwinter. We had Swaski and Juliet, who had previously met up and were traveling from the Blue Lake district, so coming in from the north. I feel like a weather forecaster now. Coming in from the northwest, we have Swaski and
So
Juliet.
you're remembering some details that I don't think any of us even took in.
There is a cold front coming up from these sewers as Eltrion and Murine entered from various networks. They entered into the Beggar's Quarter, where the chasm is. There's all sorts of devastation from still reading from the spell plague, and then the eruption of Mount Hodnau, Hateno, whichever, and seeing the kind of squalid conditions around them kind of hit home for a few of them, kind of not realizing how bad it was. They encountered some priests of Clemvor who were going around collecting strangely headless corpses and people who were not responsive for some sort of reason. That reason being that they were infected with a mysterious plague, a plague which causes their heads to sprout wings from their ears and remove themselves in a painful and gory fashion. A flock of these descended upon our unwitting heroes, who, I mean, it has to be said, managed to fend them off pretty dang successfully. That was, good going, everyone. And then, being as you were the five who were kind of mostly doing the stuff, you realized, oh, well, we're the protagonists of the story, we should probably hang out. You had previously encountered a beggar on the streets Barley was talking to, and he knew where the kind of voice that you had all been following to this location originated, was strongest. Who can tell? You sent some brats to reconnoiter the situation, and reconnoiter they did not. But you did find that when you enter the grounds, the voices stopped. You found that there were a couple of ways in, and you opted to disarm a spell warding the front door and walked straight in. Eltrion and Swaski were up front. Swaski had cast Detect Magic and could tell kind of a few auras around, noticing that there was a cape which was giving off a bit of kind of magic itemness, which Eltrion, through invisible mage hand, decided to garb himself. And that is roughly where we left off, with the skin slowly crawling up your arm. Murine.
I believe I cast Pass Without a Trace and that I'm still concentrating on it.
You did, yes.
Cool.
Thank you for the reminder. You are
Just
all
checking.
plus 10 stealthy. I don't believe, David, I gave you much of a chance to react, should you wish to do so, but this is where we are picking up.
Do I notice?
I believe I got you to roll a history check on your own arm to see how well you remembered it, and yes, you spotted that the skin is further down the decayed limb than you remember it being.
I'm going to try, whilst inwardly feeling very shocked that this seemingly just hanging their cloak is doing this, but I'm going to try and not give it away, because the idea of reacting, Eltrion wants to sort of scream with joy, but we're surrounded by fiends, so it's more of just well, that's very unusual. Is it itching or any kind of sensation alongside it?
Yeah, it's a weird kind of like tingle that you can just kind of feel around the kind of regrowing flesh.
What's unusual?
It would appear that this cloak has some healing properties.
Oh, cool. Could be quite handy.
Eltrion holds up the golden skeletal hand. You're not wrong there.
I'm aware of your golden skeletal hand, aren't I?
Yeah.
Don't react or say anything.
Interesting. Can Suaski see the school of magic that is present on the cloak?
I mean, it's going to be transmutation, I believe. Oh, the magic on the cloak or on the arm? Sorry.
No, the cloak.
On the cloak. On the cloak, it's DM's worst nightmare spell. This. No, it's. I think it's still transmutation. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I can't say this in character, but that's not healing magic.
Interesting. I don't believe it's quite doing what you think it is. However, well, you've put it on now, so I guess we'll see.
Well, I haven't equipped it. It's just kind of lying over my shoulders.
Seems to
I
be doing
think it's
the job.
best to keep it that way.
So,
If anything horrible starts to happen, can someone just tell me?
why your head flies off?
That would be a start, yes.
I'll definitely tell you if your head flies off. It's very
I think I might notice, but I appreciate that.
It's very jazzy, your arm. What's...
Well, I don't know if we have time for the whole story, but I was conducting some research a few years back and ran into some squid-faced individuals who were able to impart me with some knowledge, but as part of that, well, it had some unforeseen physiological effects. Sparky, though. Nothing's permanent.
Just gonna shrug with a kind of there were too many things in that sentence that I didn't understand for me to even begin to fathom what's going on. Should we go further into the house?
Yes, that sounds like a good idea. Will Terence be okay?
Yeah, fine. You're right, Terence? You're right, Terence? Terence is fine.
Oh, good. Terence looked very worried earlier, and
Terence still looks worried. There's a little mouse, there's a little rat just going.
Just a quick out of character question. Did we ever actually introduce ourselves to each other, or were we just sort of rocking along?
me and Juliet did, and I think me and Maureen did.
Yeah, because if Eltrion didn't, I think he would just take the opportunity to say something along the lines of, well, if we are going into mortal dangers, it seems like we might be. Account of our friendly, I assume, paladin, I assume, thinking of fiends in the area, I would like to at least go into mortal danger besides people I've had the pleasure of introducing myself to. So I am Eltrion Oblodra.
Nice to meet you, Eltrion. I'm Barley Flatcakes. I did not get your last name. That was a lot of vowels and syllables all at once.
Well, truth be told, the name wasn't given to me at birth. It was something I acquired on my travels, so to speak. But just Eltrion's fine, Barley.
Lovely to meet you.
Pleasure.
I'm Swaski Stargazer. Obviously, Juliet and I have met, but...
Pleasure.
Yeah. Juliet de Clidero, just come here from the Evermoors just a few days ago. Been following this voice. It's Anna Swaski, and it's a pleasure to meet the rest of you. And to all come here in union in this moment to find out what the flip is going on.
This, pointing to Maureen, this fine individual here is Maureen. Very capable sort.
Hello.
Pleasure to meet you, Maureen.
So while these introductions are going on, Swaski is kind of like still kind of keeping an eye on everything around, because they're like, why did we choose this time when we've already stepped into the house to do the introductions?
We might die.
Because why not?
Because I've already told everyone there's fiends and everything. Okay.
I am not going to die side by side with a stranger.
This conversation has been very stressful for Maureen, so they are just watching all of this and completely like, should I say my name? Then was introduced. Okay, my name was said. Good. Just tiny little person, not quite sure what to do with anything.
Would I notice any discomfort on Murine's part?
You're fully aware that I am terrible around people.
So in their mind, Murine just hears, "Don't worry, I'll be okay."
Does anyone need light to move forward into this house?
It is dark.
I don't.
If you're asking about dark vision.
Yeah, I have it, but I can also bring it, as I'm a light bearer.
Bring it.
I'm bringing the light. But
Oberg's the only one that I'm not sure.
As like a Christmas tree in the house of Eldritch Terrors.
I think we can all see in the dark,
Just
can't we?
asking.
I suppose that's another way of announcing our presence, but then I guess dispelling the trap on the door has done that for us. So,
We're also all speaking quite loudly right now.
yep.
Where... Now we can't hear the voice, I don't know where to go.
Well, there is this door ahead. Perhaps we go ahead and see what is beyond it.
Okay.
Juliet, do you sense any fiends?
I mean, I had a look with a certain special vision that I can be granted. The whole place was fiendish.
All right.
Okay.
Could have a look here, but if Swaski isn't picking up on anything, and it's just a room and a coat rack and a door. Is that correct, DM?
Yeah, I mean, it's a fairly enclosed space where you are at the moment, but there is a kind of inner door beyond the door. Yes, yeah.
Sean,
Cloakroom.
Yeah. So Aski, you can keep an eye out for any of those
can I
magical
roll
traps.
a survival check just on passage through the space, like footsteps in dust or detritus leavings?
Yeah, give me a survival check.
Thank you. Non-nat 20.
Wow. So as you open the door, I'm guessing, trying the door or like.
I was just thinking
Checking
this
for
room for
traps
now,
first.
Sean. Jeez.
I mean, this room is literally a kind of because D&D 10-foot by 5-foot square.
How are we all
We've
fitting in
been
there,
having
Sean?
this conversation. Hello, I'm Barley.
Right up in
I'm
front of you.
massive.
What I'm checking for specifically, Sean, is are there footsteps leading up to this door? Have people gone through? Is this actually a door? Is this like...
You can see footsteps, yes. They appear to be quite large, a bit unsteady, you'd even guess, with your non-natural 20. I would say as well, and you're probably more kind of from picking up from your rats, a couple of them are sniffing around at the door where there appears to be some ants just kind of marching in a little line in and out of the doorway in front of you.
Okay, I go over to the ants.
They are ants.
Pick up an ant and I eat the ant. Is it a normal ant?
Give me. That's not exact. Animal handling. Nature. I think it's going to have to be nature.
Oh, I'm terrible at nature checks.
Would Barley be able to-
The bane of rangers, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Would Barley be able to pick up on the fact that Irene has gone to eat the ants? And would Barley have seen the ants to maybe give some tips on eating bugs?
Sure, I rolled a nat 1, which makes it a 0.
I would say that noticing Murine, I think the first ant you pick up, actually, your tongue approaches it and it bites you. But then I would say that Barley can give some tips and tricks. So if you would like to re-roll.
I'm going to be a bit awkward and just sort of like try to cup your hand with mine and just guide you in the picking up of the ant. You have to do it gently. You have to do it gently, Murray. Whisper to the ants. Like you do your rats, you have to guide them. Like I'm guiding you.
Hello, Mr. Ant. How are you today? Gonna eat you now.
Happy.
Rolling again.
Seduce them before you eat them.
12.
With a 12, I would say you don't get bitten this time, but just normal red-coloured ants.
So they're not, they're natural.
They're not demon ants.
Good. I don't think everything in here is fiendish.
I certainly hope we're not.
Yeah.
Eltron will be keeping a very, very close eye on the arm to see if it starts to do anything weird, like becoming fiendish.
I mean, give me a Constitution save,
Oh God.
David.
Your arm strangles you.
21.
21. You're not feeling too bad at this point. You have noticed your other hand is tingling a little bit.
I am going to use my mage hands to remove the cloak and put it in my backpack.
Okay.
Swaski turns to Eltron. So, Eltron, would you care to do the honors? Indicating the door.
My pleasure. How far away is the door, Sean?
Literally.
I like
I
this.
think you're kind of spelled out
next to it. Like, there's no way to not be right next to the door, or can I get like at least 10 feet away?
You could step out onto the veranda. Yeah, just behind you.
Yeah, I think I'll do that. And just look at the door and make it look like it's really hard, like I'm channeling some sort of essence, whereas in fact it's just like that. And I will use my mage hand to open the door.
It opens out into a dark hallway. You can see that there is a staircase ascending to the next floor, and to your right there is another door, and further ahead of you, you can't see a doorway, but just kind of into the darkness. You would have dark vision of 30 foot, I'm guessing.
60.
120.
Yes, I don't know what I was thinking.
If you've
120.
got, you've got
Do you have
120.
double sight?
No.
No.
That's just 120 is a lot.
Yes, I do. I'm lying. I do.
Oh, that means you're the only
I
one of
read.
us that can see in color in the dark
Winner.
and see in magical darkness. That
Yes.
that's interesting.
So,
yeah.
go on.
I'd be aware of how some individuals can see in magical darkness because of knowing about drow stuff. Possibly.
So, rescinding off into the gloom, I will say, because for all of you, darkness is not the obstacle it would be for human eyes. But off into the gloom, you can kind of see beyond other rooms that appear to be in a bit of a state of disarray.
Can I roll a stealth check and then start moving down the corridor?
Yes, seeing as I cannot remember your... Oh, go on.
I was going to say, I'm just going to pick up some ants to go before we move on. So I'm just going to bend down and pick those up before we... If it's all right with everyone, I'm just going to pick up some ants and put them in my pocket for later.
Okay.
Whatever floats your boat.
As long as I don't have to eat them.
I was just
I would say-
testing to make sure they weren't fiendish. It wasn't a snack.
They are now.
Okay.
So I can't remember what your stealth rolls from last week were, so please roll me some stealth checks for
And
sneaking into the
as-
house.
10, because of past that trace still being active.
Plus 10.
Ooh.
Pretty sure it was better last week. 17.
With the
20.
plus 10.
Yeah, with the plus 10.
22.
22.
25.
20.
So,
Go on,
Molly?
Liz.
20.
20.
37.
Nice.
Yeah. So, was that a
God
natural
can't
20?
see me. No, 17.
That wasn't even an... Oh, well.
Chat,
No,
so I
not a
seem
nat
to
20, it's a
remember.
40.
I seem to remember I rolled a 31 last week, chat. So let me know if.
I think as a group, your average is high enough. Mostly thanks to your rat friend, who you feel like you're keeping yourselves to yourselves, being fairly quiet as you go ahead. Would you like to open the door to your right, or would you like to head up the stairs, or would you like to head down the corridor?
If no one goes to move to the door on the right, I can also cast Mage Hand, but it's a rat. So I will send a rat, makes its way up and like hanging off the door and just hanging off the handle, just falling down.
I will also...
I was going to say, before you do that, is there a higher concentration magic up the stairs or through the door?
Good point.
The difficulty with this house is that there are a lot of things with kind of residual magic dotted around. So gauging kind of where more is coming from or not. As you get closer to things, you'll be able to tell a little bit more about each one. Assuming I can remember what they are in time. I'd say in terms of kind of more or less, you're not going to be able to gauge your way around the house that way.
Okay.
I will, however, give you, because of your particularly high survival score previously, that you notice that the trail of ants seems to be kind of wending its way to and from this room on the right.
Okay.
And
the ants are not fiendish, so this is probably a good sign.
And as your rat kind of scampers up, doorknob, the door swings open, and those of you who are peering in will see a room which seems to have a lot of items which are covered over by dusty white cloths. You can see that there are two largish lump-sized objects under white cloths, potentially facing one another, with a cylindrical shaped covered item sat in between them. They seem to be posed near to a mantelpiece, above which is a oblong-shaped, covered over thing of unknown origin. There's also a number of tables that don't have white cloths, and these tables have a variety of kind of plant pots on them. You can't see any plants coming out of them.
What kind of room is this, Sean? Is it like a dining room, or is it more like a sort of terrarium? Terrarium? That's what I mean. Greenhouse.
It's more of a sitting room.
Okay.
So the two objects facing each other, one might surmise could be chairs.
How's the smell in this room?
Give me a perception check.
Mm-hmm. It.
8.
Can one
it doesn't
help?
smell good.
Can one help on a perception check? Would you allow that?
I'd say you could roll your own perception check.
Fine.
If it was a visual, look over there, maybe, but
Nat 20, 26.
26.
20.
Okay. Swaski, with your 8, it doesn't smell good. I think there's dead things in here. Murine, with yours, you can tell that these plant pots probably were previously occupied by plants. However, through however long you wouldn't be able to tell, but ages of not being watered, not being cared for, they have decayed into just mulch, and that is all that sits in these pots. It's just mulch and dry soil.
But that's the bad smell. Desiccated plant.
Yes, you don't. You pick up on another smell. Actually, it was a natural 20, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
I will give you this one for free. The other smell that you just smell as a very, very subtle undercurrent is sawdust.
Is there an obvious place where the sawdust would have come from? I.e., damaged wooden anything?
The floor is wooden.
Something smells weird.
Weird how?
Like wood? like someone's cut wood up, but there's no like axes or things in here.
Oh.
I'm gonna reach into my sleeve and Margarita, can you have a look around the room? Okay. And let a rat out who's going to scamper around the room in general, just not trying to be sneaky or stealthy, just trying to have a look around and see what's going on.
Is there a particular ability linked with this, or is it just...
I'm just having a rat run around the room, Sean. Just running around the room, just da-da-da-da-da-da.
Perception for the rat.
Okay.
I assume you're all hanging back while this is going on.
Rats have advantage on perception checks that rely on smell.
I mean, you've already smelled the room.
Yeah, okay.
I would have let you do it, but...
it's fine. Flat roll. Ooh. 2.
A 2. I think that as your rat kind of goes around, she kind of struggles to... sorry, was the rat she?
Yeah.
Margarita?
Why not?
She kind of struggles to get under some of these cloths, which are kind of hanging down too low over the floor. Mm-hmm. So doesn't really get a better idea of their contents than any of you.
But nothing's leaping out and eating it.
Not presently.
Do it, Margarita.
But if nothing's coming out, do we want to? What are we looking for? Do we want to look under drapes, or do we want to just leave those where they are? I don't know.
There's a voice in your head that sounds like the creaking of trees in a breeze. Just whispers, "Look under the veils."
I think we should look under the veils.
I mean, I can't honestly say that sounds like the most friendly voice I've ever heard in my life, but...
This was only in Barley's head.
Oh, only in Barley's head?
Yes.
Oh, in which case... why?
I just think it's a good idea. And I'm going to go in and look under the veils.
I'm going to start Margarita as a mage hand, because same thing, just pulling grabbing the edge of one and just slowly pulling it off from the ground.
Okay.
I'll follow Barley in, just keeping pace with her.
Okay.
Slightly on the defensive.
So Margarita's pulling the cloth off of one of the larger lumpy objects. Barley enters, and you can hear the kind of creaking of the wooden floorboards underneath you. And as Juliet...
So, before Barley goes in,
Mhm.
I'm just going to touch Barley on the shoulder and say, better you than me, and guidance.
Okay.
Eltron is backing
ducky.
away from the door.
I'm standing
Looking
in the
into
door
the room, but back.
I mean, it's probably a good job because Barley's like quite tall and quite chunky, I imagine. So like a
It's like a
doorway
sort of-
with all of us might be a bit difficult.
So
Thank you.
as Barley enters, guided as she is by Swaski, you can hear like the floorboards creak, and you're kind of leaving in the dust. Does Barley wear sandals, I believe?
Flip-flops. But yes, that's sandals. We'll go with sandals. Every character flip-flops.
The you leaving kind of little flip-flop footprints in the dust, and you can see that there is a patina of dust on all of these white cloths as well. And the same floorboards as Juliet enters groan in protest as the heavily armored paladin also enters. Is Barley going to go for a particular thing? So Margarita is pulling one of the cloths off of one of the chairs, which is revealed to be a rather comfortable looking armchair in a kind of red burnished leather.
I'll go for the nearest thing I can see. So the closest thing to me.
I think the closest thing that's not already being uncovered by a rat would be the cylindrical object between the two chairs.
That's fine. And I probably won't even look at the items underneath. I'll probably just go one by one, just taking the covers off them. Just doing it methodically, but not even that interested on what's underneath.
Okay. Well, those of you who are observing will see that Barley has, between the two chairs, and they are two chairs, is a rather nice coffee table with a inbuilt dragon chess board. And you can see that there seems to be a drawer or some sort of compartment underneath, within which potentially other pieces. You can remove the other armchair, which is a matching twin for the other uncovered one. And then you're just stood, there's the oblong-shaped object hanging above the mantelpiece. Do you uncover this?
I would do, yeah.
So this is a picture frame. And the picture is of, you can see that there's a painted canvas depicting a pair of well-dressed, masculine-presenting figures, each wearing finely tailored clothing. Their arms are clasped and tied together. One of the two figures appears to have some elven heritage. The other, however, you can't quite tell because their facial features are obscured by a oval of dry and flaking paint, which has just kind of crisped away, revealing the rough first layer of paint and even bare canvas underneath that. There is also a plaque underneath that you're not quite close enough to read.
Got you. After revealing the picture, I will turn around and look at what I've done and sort of smile to the rest. It's perfectly safe. Come in. Come in.
I go in.
Okay. As Maureen enters, the floorboards creak even further, and you hear a sudden crack.
I jump back.
Could the two who are in the room please roll me a dexterity saving throw?
Also,
I mean, Sean, I weigh next to nothing if that helps you.
Yeah, but you're also covered in rats.
Fair, they weigh a lot.
6.
You get to add a +4, Barley.
oh, good shout.
A D4.
Thank you.
D4.
A D4. Let me just find. There we go.
Save it. It's it's an ability check, not a saving throw.
Oh, wait, hang on. Let me just
Difference
double
math
check.
called resistance.
Oh, yeah, sorry. It is just
Sorry.
an ability check.
It was a 12.
Apologies.
That's cool. Thank you.
12. As Maureen kind of, I would like a dexterity saving throw from you as well, actually.
Sure.
You are a ranger. You're probably going
21.
to survive. 21. Yes. You kind of set off this chain of events, but jump back in time.
Classic Maureen.
Julia and Barley, as you're kind of stood in this chamber, a couple of the floorboards, which have been chewed away by termites, it was actually termites, collapses with these floorboards falling into the basement. Julia, you are kind of caught. You do manage to catch yourself on the edge, but you are hanging over the precipice. Barley, with your 12, you stumble to the floor, but you are not hanging over the pit. This is what happens in sequence. Those of you who are kind of peering over into the new hole in the floor, you can see the floorboards tumble into the gloom, into the midst of a group of humanoid-esque figures. Some of them you can see their facial features are completely covered over with skin. They do not appear to have any visible eyes, nose, mouth, ears. Others appear to be in worse condition. They appear to be bloated, their heads and necks being subsumed into the this consumption that has enveloped them. Others still are little more than inflated balloons with little legs just barely touching the ground. And the floorboards, as they fall into the center of the basement, hits one of these particularly inflated individuals, which bursts, sending a cloud of spores into the air. Barley, Juliet, I think Murine as well, because you're close enough. Can I also get some Constitution saving throws?
Hang on, I didn't roll for Margarita.
Oh yes, Margarita, please. Margarita.
Oh.
Yeah. Just to check.
Margarita rolled a Margarita rolled an 18. 18 is also fine. Was kind of on the other side of the chair, but we'll also need to make a Constitution save. You got it. 12.
Now, how big is the room? This is what I need to double check. It is 25 feet wide, and it is a 30-foot cloud emerging from the basement. I think trigonometry probably means actually Eltrion and Suaski probably also want to make some saves. Can you all just...
I want to be very clear that I said I backed up as far away from the door as I possibly could.
Yeah, I did not.
I definitely said that, Sean.
You did?
I said that for a reason.
You did?
At no point did I say, I poked my head in, I'm really curious. I said I've backed away from the door.
A 30-foot radius. And it's not a White House.
Upwards?
All right. As you're arguing so vociferously, I will say you can roll yours with advantage. You are far enough out of the crowd.
I will accept this. Thank you.
12 for me and the rat.
12 for you. 14. Barley and Juliet?
18 here.
13 for Barley.
13.
Con save, you say?
It was con, yes.
Yeah, 20 off the first roll.
Okay. Murine and Barley, you get a lungful of these spores as you look down into the pit. Juliet, you're kind of largely saved by the fact that you're kind of hanging as you are, facing away from everything and kind of partially covering your nose and mouth as it is. Murine and Barley, however, you start to feel a tingling sensation in your extremities, your fingertips and your toes. And even your eyelids are starting to tingle.
Any other like health effects, anything like that? Because the rat's also infected. Because Marguerite rolled a 12.
Yeah. As you look down at Marguerite, you notice that her claws, the quick around her, and the cuticles around her claws is growing, and has enveloped her claws. And if you look down at your own hands, you notice that your fingernails are slowly disappearing into your hands. Your little fingers, particularly, have been entirely subsumed at this point.
Can I pull myself up onto the...
No.
Can I help?
You may.
Yeah, then I'll go over and grab Juliet's arm and start pulling.
I think the same.
Yeah, I would say... Go on.
I think that's probably why I failed that check. I probably went, Juliet, and just inhale it all very quickly.
Yes, I would say roll a strength check with advantage because you're being held.
Okay. Athletics or just pure strength?
Yeah, you can do athletics, yeah.
Cool. So it's a 21 or a 11. I'll take the 21, thank you.
I would as well. Yes, you managed to kind of, at first kind of snagging some of your dressings on the wood as you go, but you managed to kind of unhook yourself from with the aid of your colleagues. You are pulled out of the pit.
Is it noticeable what's happened to Marine and Barley? Are they... are you checking out your hands? Are you with the...
Yes.
I don't
Yeah.
think
Fairly
I've...
insightful, moderately insightful notice.
I think I would have noticed because I've noticed Margaret. I've not noticed on myself at all. It's more of a... Well, are the bodies, like, moving, making noise?
Give me a medicine check.
14.
14. With a 14, they're not making any kind of noises that you would recognize as being vocal. They're making shuffling noises, which you think largely are probably their feet on the ground, particularly those who are slightly inflated. Their toes appear to be not quite touching the ground as much as the others, so they're kind of scraping a lot more.
The room that they're in, is it just an enclosed, like, basement room? Did you say it was quite large, or are they just all quite clustered in a small space?
From the hole that you can see, it does appear to be a fairly largish room. They seem to be clustered more or less in the same sort of space.
What the hell are they?
You don't know.
Perhaps we should say hello.
I don't believe we should. I think we should get out of this room.
Okay. I'll scamper back out of the room.
Juliet will turn to Barley. Are you all right?
I inhaled a lot, but yes, my fingernails are missing. But yes, I'm fine.
Can I inspect the fingernails to see if it looks like it's disease-based?
Yes, you may. I think another medicine check.
That one Oran has is 11.
With an 11, you've never seen anything like this, it's safe to say. You guess it's a disease, could also be a curse. You can't really be sure.
I'll drop 5 lay on hands to try and cure a disease. See if it goes away.
It does not.
It does not. Sorry, Darley. It's a bit above my pay grade, this.
It's quite all right. I've still got 8.
Is the effect ongoing, or does it slow? Like, is it something where we are now infected with this and we will continue to grow, presumably more skin, or does it slow down? Because I'm looking at Margarita and I can literally see it happening, so I'm just trying to check out what's going on.
You don't think it's going to slow down, because judging from the things in the basement, they appeared to be at different levels. There were some whose features were just entirely gone, but then others who had kind of gone into the inflation stage, and their other bodily features were being subsumed. So it seems to be something that progresses.
It's
Perhaps.
noticeably about growing flesh.
Sorry?
It's noticeably about the growth of flesh.
Does appear to be about the growth of flesh, yeah.
Does it seem to be similar to the effect that the cloak was having on me?
Does Elchion look at his non-golden hand?
Yeah.
You are missing your little fingernails, yes. And the quick has grown thicker and further up your hand.
What is this?
Do you suppose that those were the things calling out for help?
May have been.
But why wouldn't we hear it closer to them?
It's curious. Is Is the front door, did it close behind us?
Is it there anymore?
I was going to ask this because I have a character dilemma because, like, why would I now not just be like, okay, going to go find a priest? I'll see you in a few hours.
The door is closed, yes.
Does it look like, do I still have detect magic up? Has it been 10 minutes yet, or?
I would say you're on the cusp, but you can probably just get a little glimpse.
Right, has anything magical appeared like around the door again? Is it re-trapped in the way it was when we started, or is it like, are we?
The enchantment does appear to have re-inveigled itself over the door.
Right. So, if you remember that I had to dispel an enchantment for us to enter, it's back again. So, I suppose I could attempt to dispel it again, and we could see if we can address this issue that has appeared, or we can continue with attempting to find the person that called us for help.
Maybe
I will very quickly brandish my little finger towards Swarovski and ask if it's magic. Is this
magic?
I'm not doing that.
It does appear to be kind of necromantic magic, yes.
Right.
So a different kind of magic to the one that was on me.
So it's specifically magic, not that. Sorry. Does it look like they've caught some kind of disease, or it's specifically a magical effect that's taking control of them?
I've confused myself. I realized, yes, it was in fact the same one as was on David. So I think I said transmutation, didn't I?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's a skin transmuting disease curse thing.
Grim.
Right.
Yes. We know it's not a regular disease because I've just tried to cure one.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's a special, extra, fantastic disease.
If there is someone
could you
in
dispel
here,
this?
if there's someone in here who's also been affected by this, I mean, there's all the people down there as well, but maybe there's someone who's not as far gone, who's in the same position.
Can't be cured by conventional means.
Yes.
Then I would say we have no choice but to press on and be very careful, because even being touched by that cloak was enough.
And I'm sorry, are you calling me conventional means? Just joking.
Dear. He. I'm sure he means divine.
I'm just joshing with you, pretty boy, don't worry.
Well, there's conventional, and then the last part is in the mind, in Eltrion's voice. There's unconventional.
So if this is magic, could you dispel it?
I am loath to attempt that just yet, especially if you're all keen to press on.
But you know, if breathing becomes an issue, could you boop?
Problem is,
I will.
there's
I will
three of
attempt
us.
it then.
Yeah.
I would say that time has become an issue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I will say this to all of you, that before we're turned into whatever those things are, I'll burn this house to the ground.
Ideally, not with us in it.
Oh, it's very much the contingency plan.
Cool.
I'm not a pyromaniac.
Since Margarita is significantly smaller than all of us, is it affecting her faster? Or is it the same rate of skinification?
She is smaller, So it is, I think, because we use safety controls regarding things happening to animals, I will probably skim over some of the details, but leave it might be worse to your imaginations. But it's affecting Margarita at the same rate. Let's just say we might not hear her name again this stream.
We should start trying to sort this out quickly, and I will just put her down.
Set face.
Give her a little stroke.
Sean, I've moved over to the portrait.
Mhm.
And I'm just looking at that.
You'll make another hole in the
Still
floor.
in the room?
The hole kind of was in the center of the room. It didn't take any of the furniture with it, which were kind of directly in front of the mantelpiece. So yes, you can edge kind of round the...
What it was like in my head
Marsh.
too. And on my little map I drew.
I'm not going to make you roll to read. So you can see that the plaque reads Mr. Duroc and Mr. Ivid Antoni. I will spell those for you. Duroc is Juroc. Ivid is Ivid. And Antoni is Antoni.
And which, is it clear from the title which one now has no face?
If you were to assume that the plaque read in kind of this person's on the left, this person's on the right, you would think that the one whose face you can't make out is Ivid.
And it appears that this is some sort of hand fasting ceremony.
You would make that assumption, yeah?
Okay.
Like a marriage ceremony?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, they're very much kind of dressed in the way that you would presume two well-to-do persons would undergo a marriage of this kind. The garb particularly is particular finery.
Has anyone heard of Ivid Antoni? Any of you?
I mean,
Have we?
massive assumption, Sean, but I'm guessing not.
Roll me a history check.
Famous person about town.
Are we all? Or?
5.
It's like a fashion brand when you say it, John.
If you wish.
Ividan journey.
No.
Hey, look at your Ividan
Got new
journey.
perfume out.
That's a 17, which is worth inquiring.
Even with a 17, the names don't spring to mind. I will say with a 17, you feel like you're quite up to date on some of the nobility, kind of particularly around Neverwinter, where you tend to do a lot more of your business. You've never heard of them.
If they've ever been relevant, my expectation is that they haven't been relevant for some time.
Should we...
Do any of the figures neath the floor look of similar build to the fellows in the photo?
It's hard to tell because of the inflammation.
Right.
Yeah,
It'll be hard to say.
yeah, it'd be very hard to say, and the perspective's off because you're kind of looking down on them. And what's everyone's passive perception, by the way?
14.
11.
12.
17?
16. Sorry, I just worked out the anagram, Sean.
I was going to say that's such an anagram.
Oh, give it away. People at home might not have worked this out.
What, your NPCs are all anagrams?
They are certainly not all anagrams, just most of them. With a 17 and a 16, you are aware of a sudden scampering in the room. So from the sitting room, the parlor that you're in at the moment, there's actually a double set of doors which are slightly ajar going into another room, which appears to have, from what you can see a dining table. It's the room that's kind of open from the hallway. and you just, out of the corner of your eye, you notice a kind of skittering.
What size skittering?
Cat-sized skittering?
I'll move over to the door and the double door and peek in.
Okay. The room beyond, you can see, appears to be more of a kind of dining room setup. But the table and chairs have been pushed all the way up into the bay windows. You can see that on the dining table there are candelabras, napkins, cutlery, all sorts of finery. Mostly laid out as if for two people. However, you can see that there are a lot of stacks of dirty dishes with different amounts of decaying food kind of remaining on these dishes. The table and chairs appear to have been shoved to this corner of the room to make way for what appears to be a large circle drawn in chalk.
Everyone, there's maybe something in this room that's important.
Before we leave this room, I would like to try one thing. Firstly, the creatures that are shambling around, we've established that we can make eye contact with them without making them explode.
I mean, none of them have eyes.
But I can see them without them exploding.
Yes, they can be observed and they're not doing anything.
And they're humanoid, and Juliet didn't say anything about sensing undead in the house.
No.
Cool. I would like to try and telepathically speak to one of them.
When you try and do that, can you tell if a thing is dead?
Well, I don't think it matters. If it's a creature, I can speak to it.
I mean, there's a brain in there. You don't get a response. You don't see any kind of registering of your voice.
Weird.
Has no mouth.
Well,
but it must scream.
Yeah. I tried to communicate with them. There's nothing coming back, so... Well, it was worth a try. Should we go and see what Murine's found?
Yes.
Just by the door, just peering in.
Yeah.
Do you wonder how they got here?
Just pulls scarf out of their pocket and kind of wraps it around their face.
Oh, good idea. Pull out a vestment.
Yeah. Puts their braces on their sleeves so they're not billowing everywhere, and wraps up their big floaty pants. It's like, okay.
Did you say Barley was the infection was progressing at the same rate in all of us that have been infected?
Yes.
Well, given that Barley inhaled a whole bunch of spores, Eltrin is going to draw the conclusion that, well, I'm not going to get any more infected and not bother with any of this wrapping up business.
I do wonder where these people came from. What was the name, Sean, of the homeless person that was my best friend?
You were a step ahead of me. I don't think I named him.
You did. Her name was
Okay, I named him.
Franklin. It was Franklin.
Yes.
Franklin.
That's right.
Cool.
Anagram.
I seem to remember Franklin anagram tell us that people came in this house and didn't come back out again.
But
perhaps they are them.
But they wouldn't have fallen through the floor because there were no holes till we got here. Unless something's fixing the floor.
The basement doors were the ones that weren't magically trapped.
That's true.
And were so invitingly open.
Gross.
So perhaps that's the way they entered and
Maybe.
the reason why they never left.
So, where are we going?
Well, through this door, there's a circle on the floor. I don't know why you'd put a circle on the floor, but there is one.
Can we see? So, and can we see that it's chalk, Sean? Is it definitely a chalk, like a white chalk substance, or is it like piled like
Salt.
ash, for example? Or
No, it appears to be drawn in chalk. Those of you who wish to may make an Arcana check to see if they can determine its origin. David, you may make your check with advantage due to character reasons. 4.
Oh.
Well,
Would
Yeah,
making a religion check of it?
yeah, I'd allow a religion instead. Yeah.
Okay.
Because
It looked like it was cocked, but it was actually just a 5.
It's a dirty 20. Pretty much the best I could do.
12 for me.
12, and that's a religion check.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's nothing I could add to this conversation.
5, suffice to say, you look at this circle. You can see that there are other symbols drawn, but they refuse to be registered in your brain. They kind of dance around and kind of hurt to look at. With a religion check of 12, you don't get any kind of real certainty on this, but it's nothing that you would associate with being holy. Certainly not. And you can see that there are kind of some black candles dotted around the circle as well, which so just checking my notes, are they black? Did I say black?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, 9 black candles. And you can see that there's a few droplets of blood at one end, none of which are particularly good signs when it comes to circles drawn on floors.
In character, I'm confused. Out of character, Sean.
With a dirty 20, you... what languages do you speak as well?
Question. Abyssal, Common, Deep Speech, Elvish, and Undercommon.
It's a wonder why I even made you roll, because you can see that these symbols are abyssal. So with your 20, which largely due to kind of a lot of your experience with the octopus-faced ones,
Oh, good.
you can see that the runes themselves don't spell anything. Like it's not like summoning. It's not.
anagram.
Yeah, it's not an anagram. It's
Roll
just
the summoning circle. S U.
it's just, but each of these runes, like by themselves, kind of constitutes part of this summoning ritual, which you believe is to do with the creation of, or the binding of life from outside to here.
Do I have any knowledge from matters arcane as to what the effect would be of destroying the circle, or scuffing it, or going into it, or any of that, or would it do nothing?
You're fairly confident with your high roll that this is from a completed ritual. Doing anything to it now isn't going to have any ill effects, or any positive ones.
I would like to take the time, if it's given, depending on what the party does. You can tell me how long it would take, but just to jot it down on some parchment.
What is that? Why would you draw a circle on?
This is a summoning circle. It's to do with binding life from the outside to here. It's been completed, but knowledge of something this profane should be recorded in case it needs to be undone in the future. And Eltrion will just finger the little clasp, which is a pin in the shape of a harp.
When you mean life from the outside, what does that mean? Like a deer?
What does that mean, Sean?
Or a cow?
Well, the language is abyssal.
I would say, and tell me if this is metaing, but I think it's fair to speculate. I would say it's likely that the people who are perhaps dying from the plague are being used, or their life essence is being used in order to give life to the fiends that Juliet has sensed. So we find who drew the circle. We find the source of all of this.
Okay.
Why would someone bring this kind of entity here? What's the purpose?
I've come across a number of people in my time. Sometimes it's the quest for knowledge, sometimes it's the quest for power, sometimes it's just want to see the world burn, you know? But whoever they are, it's fair to say that they may not be entirely stable.
Well, do we think it's Jurok or Ivid and Tony? Depending on whether they got a face or they don't.
If it's their house, then maybe. Sean, how old is the food?
Roll me survival,
Yes.
particularly if you intend to taste it.
Why, Chris? Why?
It's a nat 1, so I'm going to go and taste it.
Irene, what are you doing?
I want to see how old the food is. It's very old.
It's very old. It's so old you struggle to tell quite how old. But yeah, this is rancid, mouldy, not edible by any sense of the word.
It's very old.
If you're hungry, you can have one of my ants.
That was-
Irina, I've got lots.
I wanted to see if I could work out how old it was, but instead I've just got a face full of...
Is there anything that suggests that this was a meal for a special occasion? Or does it just seem to be a standard meal?
Happy anniversary, love. What did you get me? A summoning circle.
Well, I'm thinking on the lines of the old Skyrim quest of I'm trying to bring my lover back to life by stitching parts to them.
I think I would like an insight roll. There is not a person to insight here, but you're obviously inciting their actions and what their intentions were for these meals.
Fair play. 20.
20. There's a couple of plates that the ones which seem to be at the head of the table, which the quality of the horrific decayed food potentially is more, or rather what I would say is more of it was eaten, so you would probably assume it was better, a nicer meal, and just kind of judging by some elements of it. But you also kind of guess that they're probably the oldest meals. The others seem to be purely for sustenance. Very moldy potatoes, like a underdone chicken, sort of.
So these are meals from different times. Or they're all from the same time. Someone was just like literally making a meal around the moldy meal.
Yes, you would guess that the two initial plates were older, but then the other ones are just dotted around from different times.
Okay. How many is the table laid for?
It's only laid for 2.
Right, okay. Yeah, I'm definitely going down this trying to rescue my tortured lover route or whatever. So, interesting thing here. Are all the meals laid for 2, or is there a point where they just seem to be laid for 1?
Only the first one. I think we're probably stretching that you're 20 at this point, but yeah, only the first one appears to be a meal for two. The rest appear to be just piles on top of each other of different.
Sure. I mean, I would work it out by the basis of whether the food was the same.
Yeah, and different stages of decay. Like you can tell by the layers, like how glued to the bottom plate they are.
That's fair enough. I want to know what I could work out in character and what would just be metaing. So,
they're all on the same plate.
No, it's just meals. Lots of different plates. They haven't done any washing up.
They just stacked them on top of each other. Interesting thing here. The first meal appears to be for two. Every subsequent one is one. And the food, insofar as I can tell, for the first and oldest meal is substantially fancier than everything that follows.
So one of them went on a diet?
I would say that would be quite a fatal diet there, Mireen.
No one lives here.
No.
We were told no one lives here by Franklin, my best friend.
I'd never forget his name.
What's your name? Franklin. Yeah.
Sorry, Lola, I cut across you. What were you saying?
Me?
No, Lola.
Oh, Lola. Yeah.
No. I was just saying curious, and then Sasuke's pondering the fact that the situation. They're trying to work out what this might mean in their head, like everyone else, but
I have an intelligence of 9. I have no idea.
Yeah.
Are you sensing any magic in here, Sasuke?
It's over.
Unfortunately, that that would take another 10 minutes to cast.
Right. Looking at
Perhaps
the finger. Perhaps we don't have the time.
Perhaps.
Are there any other doors that... Sorry, Lola.
No. I could perhaps cast it as we moved. Like, just trace the runes and work on it. Though, obviously, if anything were to happen, I would have to drop it. I'll begin.
Ollie.
Well, I've finished... but I've finished jotting down the summoning circle at this point.
It's probably been long enough.
Yeah, fine.
Ollie. Liz?
Are there any other doors that lead away from this room to perhaps the hall that we were in before?
Yes. So having gone through the double doors to the south where the parlour was, you can see that there's round a corner which goes back to the hall. You can also see that there's a couple of cupboards which are largely empty but have kind of odd pieces of crockery here and there. Kind of the least useful ones, like, you know, the massive soup bowl and like the tiny serving plates, the ones that you wouldn't go to first when you don't want to do any washing up, but you'll go to afterwards. Those are kind of in the little alcoves. And then to the north, there is a wide arch, no door in it, which appears to lead through, with your superior dark vision, you can see into a kitchen. And to the western wall, there is another door.
Do we see the skittering thing anywhere that was like caught out the corner of our eye before?
Do you see what was skittering?
Yeah, the reason we looked in that, like Maureen looked in that room before, is because with our passive perceptions, we kind of caught something.
You haven't caught it since. Although you said you had started casting a spell, right?
Yeah, I can't start investigating anything, I don't think.
You do notice...
My passive is 16, Sean. My passive perception is 16.
Yeah. Mine is 17.
I mean, I would say that you'll probably all notice this. As soon as Swaski starts to ritual cast Detect Magic, from a corner of the room, you hear two noises. The first one sounds a bit like a... and then you hear a... And Swaski and Murine, you just see burst and some flesh just roll out from underneath the curtain. It stops moving briefly, and then it kind of rolls over, and then grows legs and skitters back under the curtain.
Franklin?
Swaski's trying very hard not to, like, just gently throw up, then steadfastly trying to continue concentrating, but backing away from
pull my swords and move over to the curtain, still with a 37 stealth roll if it carries, Sean, and try and get a look at what's behind the curtain.
Okay. As you lift the curtain, you can see that whatever this ball of flesh was, you can see 5 of them. They all seem to have grown to sort of larger kitten size, but it's kind of like a cat-sized hyena with kind of very elongated face, but then no fur. It's just like a sphinx hyena hybrid kind of creature. It's not a cat, so you can kill it. Don't worry. With very kind of sharp teeth that can protrude from its mouth in horrific ways.
This one has a face.
So it's a hairless flesh cat hyena.
Who lived here first? Dr. Moreau?
Is Swaski still trying to cast Detect Magic?
At this point, I think they're just like, until something happens, they're going to, but they are like, they're doing it as they're walking, they're backing away, but they're thinking, this is probably not going to happen.
So there are 5 flesh hyena cats behind the curtain. Behind the curtain.
Yes, they appear to be scrabbling around what appears to be a piece of chalk. Swaski, as you back away, still trying to cast Detect Magic, you hear another but this time you and see who's furthest away from Marine. I'm just going to say you, actually, because I didn't determine where everyone's actually standing.
Oh, no.
Could you make me a Constitution saving throw?
Oh, God. Is this an inhaled thing? Because, like, could I get advantage for the fact that I have pre-prepared and covered my face?
Does one of the flesh cat hyenas have a cold?
No, you may not have advantage. It is not inhaled.
Do we all see these flesh cats as well, or is it just Shwaski and Murine?
No, as soon as it's revealed, you can see them. A couple of them having a 6.
Yeah.
Yay!
You take 3 points of force damage as this weird feeling in the back of your spine just kind of buffers you. And as
Obviously
you turn,
casting.
as you turn, you can see that there's another one of these creatures, but this one is kind of adult cat-sized.
Wait,
having revealed
what
the
did
little,
it hit? Sorry, what?
It hit you in the back.
No, but did it roll an attack?
No, you failed to save.
Oh yeah, sorry, never mind.
Sorry.
Oh.
Are they
the smaller ones?
People?
No, they're just making mischief. When you revealed them, they were kind of scampering over a piece of chalk. Having been revealed, some of them have kind of hissed almost, like, and skittered off in different directions.
Can I cast Speak with Animals and try and talk to one of them?
Casting a spell.
Yep.
You try to talk to one and kind of focus your attention on it, and it kind of turns to you and goes and explodes again into piles of flesh, which roll over and then grow legs and stand up. And one of the new ones hisses at you.
How many are there now?
There were 5. Then you looked at 1, which exploded into 4. So there's now 8 plus the bigger one, which is behind Swaski.
I would like to try and speak into the mind of the bigger one, which I just want to say, for no reason at all, is psionics and is not casting a spell.
Okay.
And I'd just like to say, can you understand me?
In what language?
Well, if it doesn't respond, like I'm presuming that I might get a response in whatever language it speaks. I mean, I would start in common.
Okay. Starting in common, you try to talk into the mind of one, and it looks over at you, fixes you with a blank, pupilless stare, and just cocks its head and starts doing what you believe is probably its form of laughing.
These things might have been the things that were summoned. I'll try Abyssal then. What's so funny?
It doesn't give you any more response in Abyssal.
I will try every language I know.
Are they?
I'll give you this. You got the best response from common.
Yeah.
It just can't speak back.
Are they doing anything aggressive? Like Swaski was hurt. The one that I cast a spell around and it popped. Are they being aggressive? Are they attacking people? Are they running over people's feet?
I'm gonna use the animal handling skill only because it's probably the closest thing you've got.
Okay.
I don't think anything else really applies, but if you want to insight check this strange thing.
I rolled an 8 on animal handling.
8. With an 8, you can't really tell. They're not behaving like any creatures that you've ever met. Like, creatures of that size are either going to try and overwhelm things, or they're going to run away from them. These are doing neither. They're just making mischief. They don't seem fazed by you lot at all.
I'm going to pull my swords out and look back at the group and just shrug. Like, what are we doing here?
So I've backed towards. I've kind of obviously after being hit and shot to turn around. I backed towards the rest of them, not avoiding the circle. Not going in there. Is there a clear path to the door out of this room?
Yeah, there's a couple of clear paths. You can either go back into the parlor, you can go into the kitchen.
Oh, but is there a door on the other side of the kitchen that I can see from?
You can't see a door from where you are. The only other door was, I erroneously described it as being to the western side. I meant it's north facing, but it's a kind of little bit on the western wall.
Mm-hmm.
Ever so slowly, shouldering my light crossbow.
So there's a theme. Things replicating, things becoming more. I worry that if we hurt these, they will increase. They will keep on going.
Certainly seems to be the case that using magic is forcing them to replicate.
Shh.
I worry that hitting them would also do that.
Well, I'm not going to attack unless I'm attacked first.
Should we?
One of them is climbing up your leg, trying to get into your bag.
Wait, what?
Not true.
Eltrion.
How heavy are they, Sean?
They're not.
Are they more than 10 pounds?
Probably not.
I will just gently pick it off with my psionic mage hand and hold it in front of me and go, bad kitty. Bad kitty. No. My bag.
Does it do the cat thing where if you hold it by the upper body, its lower body sort of elongates?
Stood cat.
A little bit, yeah.
Swaski's just gonna kind of point to the door that we came through. That's like that because there were stairs the other side. Like it's just like let's leave.
Would seem like a good plan to me, and I'll just gently move the cat sphinx over and just place it down on the ground. Now you behave.
Like them. Can we keep one?
On the way out, Barley. We'll pick one up on the way out.
Okay. shop.
Gift shop. Buy your fleshless cat monster.
Are you going to head upstairs then, or you didn't want to go into the kitchen or that sort of area?
Kitchen
Can I
accessible
roll-
from the hallway, or is it only accessible from the room with the flesh cat hyenas?
Only from the dining room.
Can I roll a perception check looking into the kitchen before we abandon it?
Of course.
What horrors are in there, Sean?
Perception roll. Ooh. We shall see.
Dog made entirely of cheese, nat 20.
Natural 20.
Horror just tastes.
Oh, sorry, no, artificial 20. Misspoke.
As you peer into the kitchen, you can see approaching on the horizon the break. We will find out afterwards.
Cheese dog.
So, yes, this is where we are going to take our break. And those of you who were listening earlier, yes, you may have noticed that there might have been some sort of anagrammage coming on. So this time it is the names of, we presume, the owners of the Lonely House, who are Misters Duroc and Ivid Antony. So you've got Duroc, Juroc, Ivid being Ivid, and Antony, Antoni. And I shall give you the answer to this, or rather, Chris shall, as they worked it out. After the break, see you in 5 to 10. Welcome back. Hope you all had a lovely tea break and are ready for more creeping horror. So, before the break, we were exploring the house and we found little flesh hyena kittens. Before that, we found inflating, bursty human balloon things. Maybe I'll just let you rewatch the first half if you want to know what happened.
Fine, it's all fine. Everything's fine.
Mm-hmm.
But Maureen, you just had a perception roll, which was a significantly high one, wasn't it? Was it a natural 20?
It was a non-nat
20.
Oh, Sean, do you want to do the anagram first?
Oh, anagram. Yes, let's. Before we kick in, everyone in chat will be screaming, all in caps. What is it? So I was slightly sneaky in the way that I gave it because I gave it in a way that might sound like you were doing the whole thing, but actually it was the two names, Ivid Antoni and Durok Antoni. Ivid is divination, and Durok is... Oh, I was going to let you...
Conjuration, yeah.
Conjuration. I'll let you do one. That's fine. Good DM.
Yeah, you can't deprive us of our inspiration.
Oh,
That is
like
true.
inspiration.
You get an inspiration because you managed to solve the thing. You technically did it before I even posed it, but you still get it. So yes, you have that to use at some point before the end of the episode, and not just on your rolls as well. You can nominate if you, as a party, are struggling. However, with a non-natural 20 to peer into the kitchen, you are not struggling. So I shall tell you what you see. You peer around into the archway and you can see there is a sturdy, well-worn wooden table in the center of the room. The walls sport a number of cupboards, worktops. In one corner, there is a large black metal stove. Hanging over a fireplace, there is a copper-colored tea kettle. And then you can see the door from the kind of protrusion from the wall here. And as you kind of peer around, you can see that there is a door on the eastern wall leading to the outside.
To the outside?
Yes. Do you remember one of the few things Ted did see?
Ted.
Ted's fine.
I love Ted.
Ted's just an ass. There's another door that goes outside here. Maybe this one's not.
Can I remember if... So, it was only the basement door that didn't have a magical trappy looking thing on it.
That's right.
I think. Yeah. I believe I saw that one from outside. It also appeared trapped.
Never mind. Okay.
We can either make our way up and see what there is to see, or go down to the untrapped door near the inflatey things.
I will also just at this point add that I described the visual things. There is also an audible soft humming noise you can hear in this room.
In the kitchen?
Yes.
Where's it coming from?
With a dirty 20, I would say you can tell it's not coming from the kitchen. It's coming from an adjacent room.
Is there another door in the kitchen that goes into another room?
No. It's up and down.
Did anyone else hear that?
Stairs? Sorry?
Swaski would hear it. I point because that's where you are for me now, but you're probably editors.
Yeah.
There's a humming noise coming from... Is it up, down? Can I listen more carefully and try and work out which direction it's coming from?
Can I listen to?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Are these individual rolls, or can we give each other advantage?
I was going to give it to you on the back of your 20.
Oh, never mind.
So don't worry. It's coming from downstairs.
There's a humming noise coming from below the kitchen.
I think our direction is set then. Up.
Okay.
What have the hyena cats been doing all this time?
Some of them are trying to make a bit of a nuisance of themselves, and those of you carrying items which are infused with magical energy might find that they appear to be attempting to get to them.
Oh no.
Another one is, for example, climbing on Eltrion's bag and attempting to unfasten the buckle.
Sean, when you say items of magical energy, I have an item of magical energy that is not you can't remove it.
Same. I have a tattoo on my face. So is that currently being
They're not attempting to gnaw your flesh, no.
Damn.
Okay.
Are they going for my sickle or my focus? Like, I've got a pretty gem hanging from this horn.
I mean, I imagine if you notice one of them trying to climb up you probably wouldn't allow that to happen to. So things that are higher up, but easy things like a bag, kind of satchel sort of thing, they are attempting to get into.
Are they going to follow us through the whole?
No.
Wonder if I just leave the cloak behind, they'll all just play with it.
Sorry, John, what were you saying?
Oh, paramassive gauntlets. What are they doing with them?
Every time you try and swap one away, they kind of try and cling onto it.
Okay. I think at this point, like, Swaski's like, we've decided where we're going. We're going out of this room.
I will follow Swaski if Swaski's making a very obvious move to leave. Sean, why are your cats NPCs in this game? I'm just asking.
I told you, they're not cats. Feel free to engage them in combat.
No.
Explodey combat.
No.
Oh, good.
Something about that feels suspicious.
That's a trap, that is.
Roll insight on the DM. Are you all heading to the... so you've already seen stairs going up from the hallway. There are the... there's a... Has anyone gone into the kitchen, or have you just been peering around from outside? Then all you can see is the north-facing door and the one to outside.
So there is another door in the kitchen.
Are there any more summoning circles or things like that? No.
No.
If you think that Murine might kind of maybe scout ahead with a couple of rats, then they would report that there is also a south-facing door. So the kind of protruding bit of wall has both a north-facing door and a south-facing door.
I'm not going to... Sorry. I have a charisma of 8. I'm partially playing that as Murine doesn't make decisions. If someone else makes a decision, they follow it, but they don't make decisions of their own. So if Swaski's saying we should go back, I'm following Swaski.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Approaches the stairs, but carefully.
The flesh things following us?
Closes the door behind the last person.
Yeah, I'll be bringing up the rear and just gently with my shield, just pushing those there. No, Kitty.
But
no.
they want to come with us, Juliet. They want to come with us.
No, they've got to stay here, though.
I like them, Juliet.
They've got to stay with their mum.
But I want one, Juliet.
On the way out, Barley, you can pick your
Okay.
favourite one. Go up the stairs.
I promise.
This one's got a
That one, I
birthmark.
can see it. The one under your arm there. Barley.
I'll put her down.
Get it. Yeah, put it back. Thank you. Jog on.
Bye, Treacle.
They largely seem to kind of stay in this area as you head upstairs. So Swaski has made a bit of a beeline. So is Swaski leading the charge?
I'll be very close behind.
Door.
So
I'm like carefully keeping an eye out.
Are we still
stuff.
stealthing?
yes, and it's easily within an hour. I would say I'd like a reroll on stealth because you've been kind of pottering around.
That's fine.
So Swaski, Murine, Juliet, you said was decisively kind of last, trying to shoo them back.
Sure.
Barley.
I think there was a certain lack of stealth in Swaski attempting to get away from these creatures, and then as they got back into the hall, then they're like, okay, quietly, look around.
Sure, I rolled a nat 1, but that's a 21. It's up to you how you want to handle that.
I also rolled a nat 1, and mine's a 16.
Also rolled a nat 1.
Oh my god!
24.
1.
My
Do we still have pass without trace up?
Yeah, that's why I rolled a nat 1 and it's still a 21.
21?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, because you got plus 10.
10 for my
Yeah.
proficiency, and I've also got expertise in it technically because rangers get
Nat ones don't count on skill checks. That's a 28.
Okay.
I've got the player's handbook.
up to the
Eltron
DM
in the
Dave.
middle. Eltron in the middle, surrounded by several nat ones, and what was that? What was Swaski's again?
Something. 20-something.
24.
26.
24.
However, I do play that a crit fail is always a crit fail, regardless of what you add to it. So, on average, you have been, hilariously bad, shall we say, in terms of stealth. However, you all believe
Yeah.
you are under the impression that you are the quietest you've ever been in your lives. You are oblivious entirely to the horrendously creaking stairs, the clanking of armor plates, and the mewling of left-behind kitten weird sphinx creature things.
Oh.
Probably
I feel
I'd like to do
I
just
feel
as
like
a
we've
lead.
definitely noticed that, but it's also just like, try to get away from the cats kind of thing. Or the hyena things. Yeah.
Sure,
Sorry, John.
just as we leave the parlor,
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to cut that piece of art out of its frame, roll it up, and put it in a pouch.
Are you literally going to try and take the whole thing off, or just
No,
like
I'm
a
gonna
corner,
cut it, roll it up, put it in a pouch.
aiming for a particular bit?
The faces and the
Face.
body,
Okay,
but
so kind of like a
particularly
bit of
the
torso.
faces.
Okay. I would say that you'd probably need to take it off the wall, but there's not going to be any kind of penalty for that. But yeah, you take it off, and you strangely unenchanted, or at least not protected. Didn't expect someone to come in with a sword and slash their canvas. But yes, you can take the face section away, and you are slowly and not stealthily in the least going upstairs.
Can I check the stairs for any, sorry.
Mhm.
My intention was to, given that the floor has fallen through in a different room, check the stairs look sound. And do it at least carefully to get upstairs.
I would say with your 27, that wouldn't be a problem. You kind of test the stairs. You're fairly confident that that they're not going to fall through. And yeah, you emerge out onto a central section of the house. As you ascend the stairs, you can see a large room which doesn't have, again, like the dining room, doesn't have doors or anything segmenting it off. It's kind of open plan. What appears to be a library of sorts. There are lining the walls all manner of bookshelves. There's even some rails in the floor where one of those fancy ladders that can slide along and is permanently fixed in place can kind of go around the whole of the chamber. However, almost all of the books and scrolls and so on have been torn away from their resting place on the shelves and are being ripped into shreds by several swarms of little sphinx, cat, hyena-like creatures.
I thought we got away from them. Swaski says quietly, under their breath, to whoever's behind.
Murine.
We assume that they are attracted to magic.
You could probably make that assumption.
Alright. if we're saying that the cat things are just all around everywhere, I'd like to cast dancing lights on the room that we're heading up from and just putting them around the room in the hope that because they're magical, the cats will be attracted to them. And also, the hyena flesh cats. And also because they are shiny and sparkly, and if they have any kind of cat in them, they might be like, oh, shiny and sparkly, meow.
Pick one. The room behind us, so they have to go through us, or the room ahead of us?
Well, because the room ahead of us has books and stuff that we presumably want them away from if we want to look for anything. And I'm also thinking that the ones that are below us are still kind of trying to come after us and stuff. So I kind of figure that we want them to be where we were rather than where we're going. And they haven't been aggressive to us at all. So it seems like it's worth a hedge.
As soon as you cast a spell, the nearest one to you goes, and then
it was a price I was willing to pay.
Explodes into a number of angry little pieces. But the when the spell has manifested and the lights are floating, the ones who are tearing up books and scrolls in this part of the house don't appear to be too interested in leaving what the mischief they're making. But the ones who are already down in the room below, where there wasn't such a concentration of magical items, they do start trying to chase the lights and play with them.
Is this due to the proximity of the lights to them, or the fact that there's more magic in the library? Or would I not?
Give me an Arcana check.
Okay. Yeah. 5.
Yeah, it's too hard to tell. You haven't examined the stuff in here to determine whether it's magical enough or not.
Is there any way that Barley could use, it's not a spell, it's speech of beast and leaf, to see if she could communicate with assuming beasts? And I've got advantage on charisma checks to influence them. So what I might try and do is say, now you're all having a very good time, I can see, and I know you like books. I know. Why don't we all go downstairs? And I'm going to see if that can persuade them to budge.
So you talk to them in common, I'm guessing, and as you speak to them, a few of them do kind of turn around, look at you,
Hello. Yes,
but
you.
They continue kind of scratching up and eating these books and scrolls that they've pulled down off the shelves. It does not work on them. They are not beasts, but they do understand common.
So they're being stubborn. Perhaps if we can move the thing that they're trying to get hold of away, we could move them too.
By all means, go ahead.
Are they preventing us from going anywhere, or could we just maneuver past them?
They're just kind of infesting the floor and covering it and destroying anything that they can get their tiny little angry mitts on. You can see from kind of where you stood on the stairs, there's a few books that they haven't gotten to yet. But yeah, you could make your way past.
Can I see if I can get to one of the books that they haven't gotten to and have a look at it?
Yes, I would. I'll. They know you're there, but I'll still say that like your stealth check in terms of trying to not make too much of a nuisance of yourself for others who are not observing will carry. So yeah, okay. You can make your way over. Roll me an investigation check to look for the books.
I'll go with that one. Oof. Not nat 20. So dirty 20.
Nice. So you look at the a couple of the shelves. You have to kind of climb up one of the ladders to try and reach, and some of the creatures do try and they see that you're able to get to some of the higher books they've not been able to reach, and they're not impeding you as such. Just they want what you're reaching. With your Dirty 20, there are 5 books that are in a good enough condition that you're able to at least read the covers, if not kind of the text itself. There is a book called Translocation by Real Estate. There's a book called A New Owner's Guide, Making the Unfamiliar a Familiar, by Herman Kulai. Finished Business, The Handbook for Diviners Who Know Too Much, by Lance Boutal. Ethical Enchantments, The Myths, Morals and Misunderstandings of Mind Manipulation, by Dern Reiger. And Hidden in Plain Sight, 101 Ways to Get the Most Out of Your Demiplane, by Olive Bucas.
Do I think any of these hold any particular significance?
Maybe the anagram ones. You could give me... No, you've already rolled fairly high on the investigation. You feel like they give you a bit of an insight into the kinds of people who resided in this house, but I'm not going to hand feed it to you.
And basically, I'm looking for something on what might be causing this. Like, I guess, obviously, the circle and stuff was like their studies or whatever, and Swaski's trying to see if perhaps there's something preserved about that. So, I don't know, some of the creatures that are infesting this house, like maybe there's something on that to cure this affliction.
Okay. Of the books that you found in an intact enough condition to read, nothing jumped out at you as the sort of thing that might be able to aid you with that. There are a couple of drawers and like cupboard spaces that beyond a few kind of scratch marks and so on don't seem to have been gotten into.
I guess I come back down off the are the drawers up or down level?
So it's more kind of like a ground near the ground cupboard.
Okay. I wave to the others, point over at these kind of shelves, and take these books that are there and chuck them on the ground into the middle away from the drawers. Like as a hopefully attracting the attention of the things so they're not drawn to the drawers.
Say to Swaski, I hope none of those books was called Whom's Whom, a guide to obscure noble families.
I assure you, they weren't of interest, but the stuff in the drawers might be.
I'm guessing Swaski didn't read out the titles to everyone then, if Eltrion's asking that question.
I will, as I come down the ladder, I'll if they're already gone, I'll be like, it was this.
I'd trust Swaski's judgment that they weren't relevant to our current plight.
Yeah.
How many... The stairs go up into the library?
Yeah, they kind of come up and then round a corner, and you're straight into the library space. Yeah, and there's a little bay window area which appears to be kind of lined with fitted seats.
Are there any other doors out of this room?
As you look around, you can see that there is a door in the south wall of this room. Around a corner, so if you were to come up the stairs and then do a hard right and come back on yourself, there's another door which appears to probably lead into the same room. Then to the north of this room, there's another archway and a door at the north end of that chamber. There is a door on the eastern wall and some stairs which go down.
Not the same stairs we went up.
Not the same stairs you went up, no. There's two sets of stairs, one that you came up, and there's another set of stairs that lead downwards.
No other stairs that go up there. This is like there's no sort of floors above us.
From where you are standing, you cannot see stairs going above, like going up.
Yeah, Murine, the Nat 1 is Murine just like taking all of this in with a kind of, I don't know what to do, I don't know where to look. Like it's all a bit overwhelming for them.
As Swarovski gets down the ladder, if no one else has gone towards the drawers that they pointed out, they're going to go and try and...
Oh, sorry, you pointed something out and asked for help, then I'll go and open the drawers.
The drawers are locked, so I will need a sleight of hand check, please.
Okay. 18.
18. I would say, I'm not sure kind of what toolkits you have proficiencies in. I'm guessing you don't have...
Thieves' tools.
You do have Thieves' tools. Well, yes, an 18 would easily be enough with Thieves' tools to and just open the locks. And you find that there are a number of wrapped scrolls that are still intact in this drawer with little kind of wax seals. Obviously a seal to close them, not that kind of seal. Without opening them, you could open them without reading and casting them.
I will just literally take them. How many are there?
11.
I'll just scoop all 11 up and go back over to Swarovski and go, here you go.
Oh, God. Quickly grabs them off Marine and, is holding them above their head.
If you can't hold them all, I'll hold the ones I've got above my head as well.
It's as a...
Which means mine are held 4 feet off the ground.
Yeah. No interest from the hyena things.
Oh, no, they're very interested.
Yeah. Where's the nearest door? I guess Swarovski's kind of got this. We need to be able to look at them, so let's get out of.
Find a safe
place.
Room.
Yeah.
A room away from fleshy hyena cats.
The nearest door to you would be either of the two that lead into the room to the south of this one. They're both shut.
I'll go to, if there's a look of we should get out of here, I'll go towards one of the doors and probably get a rat to mage hand again to open it.
It's locked.
Can I pick the lock?
You may. I'd like another sleight of hand check, please.
If I see things getting
That's
touchy
20.
with the hyena cats, I'm going to just rescue some of those scrolls as well, being quite tall, and make sure they're not caught.
Between the five of you, you've got enough kind of fingers and toes to keep 11 scrolls away from these things, especially as Marine is going to need their hands to open the door. And with a natural 20, you look at the door and it decides better of it. It's not quite like that, but yes, you see tall slides in, as if it were the actual key.
There's probably a slight look of that was easy, kind of a okay, a surprised look. Yeah.
There are some of these creatures, around people's feet, so you may want to try and think about how you're going to enter this room without also allowing them entry as well.
I will individually mage hand them and drop them down the stairs.
Is there anything in the room? Can we see anything? There's a quick...
Yeah, I'll look inside. Yeah.
This room appears to be some sort of study. That It is also in a state of disarray, but whereas the library is in this state due to the pure chaos being wrought on it by the tiny little creature mobs, this one appears to have just been left that way by some sort of unorganized scholar. It has a large desk with a chair next to it and an orrery in one corner. A large cosmological model-esque thing. That's all you would get on a quick glance.
I'm probably chivying everyone in and trying to keep the things out. Again, there's no pressure or like it's just more of a sort of being physically in the way.
Yeah. Like,
individually lifting them.
Kind of dive in. Well, not dive in, but kind of go in and like, if they don't see anything on first glance, they're going to go in and like put stuff on the table.
Yeah.
Glance at that orrery.
As I go into this room, I'd like to pop a divine sense. So let me know if there's anything, unless it's behind total cover that is celestial, fiend, or undead, and if there's anything consecrated or desecrated.
How much do you want to bet these little fuckers are fiends?
Oh yeah, if you glance at them, they're totes fiends.
Yeah.
Actually, wait, no, they're not.
Oh.
No.
Oh.
Strangely enough, they do not count as fiends. Hang on, I just need to check something. Not that there's something to check. So it's anything that's in total cover doesn't count, right?
Yeah, total cover is protected.
You do not get a glimpse of anything fiendish, undead, the other one, Fae?
Celestial.
And as for consecrated and desecrated, you get a whiff off of some of the things on the desk, but not a strong one, just kind of an off sense that you just like.
And the orrery is fine?
Orrery's fine.
Yeah. It's not my kind of creepy, Swarovski, so have a look.
I would say that as you appear to be quite keen to avoid encountering the small creatures, you do manage to, with enough time, just make the room secure and none of them scamper off or
So there's one door into this room?
No, there's two. There's two doors.
Freeze them both shut.
Okay. Do you want to describe for those of us who those in the audience who have joined us for the second episode only? By the way, why would you do that? Why?
Because I'm presuming that we've secured a room.
Not you. People not watching the first episode, Dave.
Yeah. All right. Okay.
Watch the first episode so that you can find out what this trick is.
Why would you make it secure, David? Why?
I don't know. Why would you
help
want to
us?
be safe?
Yeah,
Why would you limit peril?
Why would we attack the duplicating cat?
We scoff at
beast?
peril in this party.
Yeah.
Yes, please describe how you go about this.
So I empty 4 of my water skeins, and I command firstly on the door that we've just gone through, cast a cantrip, shape water, and have the water cover the door in as much as it can into the crevices, and basically filling the gaps because I can shape it to my commander and freeze it. And then because it's not a concentration spell, I'll do the same with the other door and say,
it is a spell though, isn't it?
Yeah. What's the cantrip?
Yeah, but they.
how close do these things have to be? Because I can cast it from quite far away.
Well, it's. I'm not going to tell you exactly what it is, but this room is only 25 by 25 feet.
All right.
And even at the very outskirts of that, you would be within range of a couple, and you don't hear any pops, but you do hear a couple of.
Okay.
the doors kind of rattle as if there was some sort of effect. But yeah, I would say you're covered enough.
With the door we went through, or both of the doors?
Both doors.
Okay, so we know that there's just cat beasts everywhere.
Specifically, not cats.
Actually,
hyena beasts.
That is a very good point. There were two options for you to get into this door, into this room. But along the western wall, there is not only the one that you saw an entry to, but there is also another door.
So there's 3 doors.
There are three doors, 2 on the western wall.
Are there any windows?
There are a couple of windows.
Okay. So even though we're not trapped in this room, basically.
If you don't mind jumping 20 feet out of a window, no.
But there's another door. You said there's another door.
Yes, yeah. So you don't have to go out to where the cat, beast, creature things are.
Okay. Right.
Do you want me to secure the other door?
No.
I can't
Sorry, that was
dismiss the
not in
spell.
character, but like,
No!
Can I inspect the things on the desk that had a bit of creepiness about them?
Mm-hmm. Give me an investigation check, please.
No.
No. For a fail.
No. Just it was a 2 for a total of 3.
I could go and help. I'm not doing anything. I could go and help.
Yeah, I'm happy for you to lend a hand. Roll with
My intelligence of 9. I'm going.
advantage.
What's that one? What's that one do?
A 9. So
9.
it looked a bit creepy, but I don't know what it is.
Can I give John my inspiration dice as well?
If you wish.
Hey, third time lucky.
D8s, I think I said that they were.
Yeah, just add a D8.
Oh, sorry. So I had a 9, and then I can add a D8. 8.
Oh, nice. So 17 in total. Yeah, at first you're kind of looking at them and they're not making any sense to you. And then Murin kind of comes over and, starts kind of pointing at some which have pictures and diagrams as being slightly more interesting.
What's that cool person?
Yeah.
And is very helpful. You find one of the scrolls that actually has a drawing of a circle with 9 little dots around it, which looks very familiar to you, and you realise is the same as the summoning circle that you'd seen below. It has a couple of notes written on it about the creation of life, the use of remnant materials, and then it's got the words partial homunculus anthropomorph, then followed after a semicolon with the words encountered limitations.
Partial. Tell me that's not an anagram, please. Homunculus.
Partial homunculus anthropomorph.
Anthropomorph.
Encountered limitations. That would be an impressive anagram by anyone's standards. But
Yep. I will read that
30
out
seconds,
and
John.
say, does this mean anything to anyone? Partial homunculus anthropomorph.
are these the scrolls on the table or the scrolls that we brought in?
This is on the table.
those are the scrolls on the table. Yeah, there's a couple of other kind of. I would say, with your 17 plus your crit on the inspiration, you can see some of the other scrolls that you kind of moved around appear to be sort of half worked out spells. So like spells that they were in the midst of attempting to recraft or devising. And I'm happy to tell you what those scrolls are, and obviously also these scrolls that you're already carrying. So just let me know.
Would I just be able to, upon the words that Juliet speaks, could Barley just see if she can remember those words, or see if she would know that if there's any magical lore behind those words that Juliet is speaking.
Give me an Arcana check. I'll also allow people who heard it to, if they wanted to make a history check, see if they meant anything to them.
I mean,
out of character,
Nice.
yes. In character makes no sense at all.
Yeah.
out of character, I understand, I think. In character, I have an intelligence of 14.
Ugh.
Do you need me to make a check to see if I know what I know?
I would say if you've kind of pieced things together, I'm not going to penalize you for that. So, I mean, roll it and then try and roleplay it as you're stumbling on it.
Arcana or history is the same.
Arcana or history.
21.
There you go.
I would surmise that the partial anthropomized homunculus have been trying to make love to our magical items all the time that we've been in this house, and that perhaps the limitations are that if you cast a spell near them, they explode.
So they were using that circle to make the little balls of thing.
Because you rolled so high, I'm actually going to say that's not it.
Okay.
I know, Sean. I'm throwing it back to Dave.
All right. Cool. Keep role playing. I'll just sit in the back.
If that's not it, I don't have a clue.
Do whisper on the wind if you need to, Sean.
The circles that were summoning things, the energy from the outside into the house. Is it the explodey things in the basement?
Well,
What have I missed? I rolled well enough.
yeah.
I don't feel I can say in character, Sean. If I think
That's all right. I would say with your 21, your first instinct is that they attempted to summon the creatures outside. And then as you kind of think about it, they're destroying the belongings of the owners of this place. So surely they are a byproduct or a failure or a side effect that was not intended.
So it was intended that they should duplicate when you cast a spell.
You, with a 21, wouldn't be necessarily certain that they were trying to summon these creatures at all. You instead would, but then your head would kind of focus on the word homunculus.
Yeah, it's like a construct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you saying all this out loud or thinking it in your head?
I think I'm probably thinking out loud.
To be fair, Eltrion can think in all of your heads.
Yeah.
One at a time. Yeah. Take a while. Probably just be thinking out loud, like partial homunculus.
You mentioned that the plates were originally set for 2 and then for 1.
Mm-hmm.
Perhaps that one person was attempting to bring back the other, or some facsimile of.
That would make sense. They were trying to create a body for them to inhabit that might suggest that they have the soul somewhere.
But the voice said, "Please help me." Like, it's got nothing to do with this. Unless
Do you want to be inhabiting a constructed body?
So you think that they managed to get the other body back, and that's the voice that we heard?
Could be the soul.
Maybe they needed. Well, we know that in the past, other people have come here, and now we can't hear the voice. Perhaps they just needed more bodies to. And then Swaski looks horrified by their kind of like reasoning. More bodies to experiment on.
Yeah. In Swaski's mind, they hear, I think you might have a point there. I'm not saying it out loud because I don't want to alarm Marine.
Yeah.
So hang on, what are you saying? That they...
No, nothing. No, I'm wrong.
Okay. Then we should keep looking for the person who's in trouble.
In Swaski's head, they hear, you're not wrong.
What are Barley and Juliet doing at this point?
I think I'll just be. Sorry, John.
Just thinking about all this because it's dead confusing. I mean,
Mm.
as you say, they might be someone in trouble, or are they pretending to be in trouble to pull people in?
Swaski goes over to the window and looks out. Can they see what is outside or what was outside? Is it?
Are you asking if the view from outside is the same as you expect it to be?
Yeah.
Give me a perception check. See how well you can see outside.
It's just a painted backdrop.
It rustles slightly.
It's a 21.
You look
The
out
21,
into the astral sea.
You see the front yard of the house exactly as you expected to.
Okay. I breathe some sort of a sigh of relief and look back and think perhaps they can ritual cast detect magic in here, like by the windows, as far away as from the thing as possible. See if that works.
Okay, so you want to kind of go to the absolute furthest corner of this 25 by 25 room, yeah?
Try, because they feel that it might be very important to. Well, I mean, before doing that, they might be like, perhaps we should search this room a bit more, and then kind of look around, look in the drawers and stuff, and then
Okay.
attempt the casting.
But there's the.
Well,
Oh, go on.
sorry. I was going to say, I think while Swaski's doing this, upon Juliet saying what she said and upon the conversation before with Eltrion and Swaski and Maureen, I think Barley will just chirp up, I think the voice tricked us here. I think we were tricked into coming here because it stopped the moment we came through the yard, and voices aren't always nice.
Oh. Then I'm just gonna roll a charisma check. See if I have the gumption to say this. I do not. Oh, just look a bit worried.
Did you start to say something?
What did you roll?
4.
What's everyone's passive insight?
17.
14.
15.
Pretty much everyone notices that Maureen was
It's like,
going to say something.
Maureen, we're all in this now together. Say what it was you were going to say.
If we've been tricked here, and we're turning into the things here, and we should go. We should just go. If this is, we should just go, right?
Agreed.
I can break a window. We can climb out. If the doors are a problem, we should just go.
But how do we make you better?
I don't know.
Is there anything else in the scrolls that we've had? Like,
Which ones would you like to look at first?
I want to be ritual casting detect magic, so I might just kind of pass them over to Eltrion, because I'm not good at the arcane stuff anyway. So.
And you're going to ritual cast.
Yeah, well, or at least try to, unless if I
You hear a
Ugh.
and then one of the doors rocks again.
Okay. It's gonna stop and then just look at these scrolls.
We can sort of divvy them out between people.
Yeah.
If that works.
Can't read.
Maybe not Marine though.
Like we still heard that from like the furthest opposite of the room.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a 30-foot range, and this room is only 25 by 25.
Okay.
So the scrolls that you find, they've been arranged in order of. There are a number that have kind of different coloured seals. So there's a couple with orange seals, which when you open up, you find they are Find Familiar and Grease. There are a couple with blue seals. Three with blue seals: Arcane Lock, Nistel's Magic Aura, and Rope Trick. One with a green seal, which you reveal to be Tiny Servant. There is 3 with a red seal: Fabricate, Leomund's Secret Chest, and Mordenkainen's Private Sanctum. There is a purple seal, which you reveal to be Rary's Telepathic Bond. And finally, there is a black seal, which is Create Homunculus.
Quick question on that, Sean. So, Rary's Telepathic Bond isn't on the Sorcerer spell list, but it is on my subclass spell list. Would you rule that I'd still be able to cast that?
Those are all wizard spell otherwise, yeah.
Yeah, they are all wizard spells. Yes, by the rules as I'm reading them, if it appears on your spell list, your personal as your type of sorcerer, then yes, you can do that.
Brilliant.
So yeah, you can just have to make an ability check if it's above your normal level.
Fair enough. Well, the rest are expensive toilet paper, but that one is potentially quite useful.
I guess looking through them, we all have a kind of sense of disappointment.
I don't because Miriam can't read, I think the concept of a spell scroll is a bit beyond them.
Okay.
Spells are inked to your body. Surely this is how you. No.
I don't know what you're talking about, Sean.
Nobody minds. I might just take possession of the one that I can potentially do something with.
Go ahead.
I'll deposit it in my backpack, making certain I do not touch the cursed cloak.
We could use the other ones as bait for the little, very sweet hyena creatures.
That is a solid point right there.
Get them out of a room or something.
Nummy scroll. Whoop. There you go.
Some might fetch quite a hefty price. So, never mind. Our first and foremost is getting out of here.
Do you want to keep them, Swaski, if they're useful to you, and then it's up to you whether you want to use one or whether you want to have money, you know?
I cannot make use of them. And
Okay.
There's also the scrolls you found in the study, if you wish to try and determine those.
yeah.
What wizard spells do they have on them, Sean?
Yeah.
What wizard and wizard alone spells do they have on them?
Well, firstly, what languages does everyone speak?
I don't read. I can't.
Abyssal, Common, Elvish, Giant, and Infernal.
Yeah, Druidic.
And
Infernal.
common, deep speech.
Sorry.
Yeah. Abyssal, Common, Deep Speech, Elvish, and Undercommon.
Can I just get John and then Lola, because I didn't catch you crossways.
We were in sync. Abyssal, Celestial, Common, Deep Speech.
Common, Druidic, Elvish, Infernal.
Okay. I can tell you that these scrolls are written in Elvish, so Arlie, Eltrion, Swaski can read it. Juliet, Elvish wasn't one of yours, was it?
If you read them out, I'll know what they say. I can speak Elvish.
Let's not read it out. 'Cause
Oh, that
Welsh noises.
So those of you who are able to read them can tell that these all appear to. So none of them are sealed because they're kind of been works in progress. But there's one that's called Detect Scrying. There's one called Mnemonic Enhancer. There is Corporeal Instability, False Gravity, Prying Eyes, Permanency, and Precipitate Breach.
What?
I don't think these appear on my spell list.
Well, these aren't going to be of much use either.
What are
still
they?
Nothing to cure your affliction. More unfinished spells and somewhat distasteful in nature as well. But Barley, can I see your hands?
Put them right up to you. Yes.
Backs away slightly.
You only have kind of like the very tips of your fingernails pointing out at this point.
Of all of my fingers.
All of
that
your fingers,
quite a
yeah.
fast-
Just
Is that quite a fast advancement, or?
For me, yes, it was quite quick.
give me a medicine check.
Okay. Oh, 21?
Okay. With the 21, you've kind of been pottering around here for probably just shy of an hour. So that's what, maybe a centimetre's worth of growth in kind of an hour, but over areas that shouldn't be growing, it has to be said. Those of you who are afflicted, you noticed on your kind of fingertips and your toe tips were tingling, and you did also notice your eyelids, which you feel a little bit heavier.
I thought you'd forgotten about that, Sean, and I was hoping that wouldn't be the case.
No.
God.
It's still growing down my arm.
Fine.
And it's still growing down your arm.
Is it regrowing muscle or is it literally just flappy skin?
Oh no, it's very much adhered to the.
Okay, so
skeletal arm.
it's not all bad, is what you're saying.
Flappy Skin, the less popular mobile game.
I'm saying it's not flapping, so you wouldn't be able to look under it and go, "Oh, sinew."
So there's the at least it's not ruining my aerodynamics.
So are our eyes growing over? Oh my god.
No, I'm not going to do that.
Would dispel magic work on this? I don't think it would remove a curse. But we noted it was a magical effect that was currently still happening from when I could see it before. Right?
I knew it to be a curse, I think.
Yeah.
Fairly certain. What is done, I think.
Out of character, considering what's written on those scrolls.
Yeah, there may not be a way of reversing it without, remove curse. Let's hope that there is that way of reversing it. Okay.
Oh, we're getting it.
You when you have a face mask on and it begins to dry over and you kind of remove your face and try and... I'm kind of doing that in real life and in game. Barley's also trying to open her eyes as wide as they can go and kind of just keep limber.
Okay.
Don't make me cut my own eyelids off.
That's a whole other level of horror, which we'll get to in session 3, I think.
Oh.
Great.
Yeah.
Anyway, we were talking before we were looking at all the scrolls about leaving. Irina's going to go up to the window and see if it is locked.
The window is locked, yes.
I would like to try and unlock it with my thieves' tools.
Okay. Give me a sleight of hand check or a proficiency dexterity-based check with your.
It's a
thieves'
dexterity-based
tools.
proficiency check, isn't it?
Yes.
I'm trying to find a dex-based skill I'm proficient in, but don't have expertise in. That one. That'll do. 11.
No. And as you attempt to open this one, there is a sudden flash, and the tool is just shot, narrowly missing your eye, past your head, out of your hands.
Oh,
Old duck.
I think this one's magically warded too. Can I go and get my tool? Is it all right?
It's fine. It's not damaged. I'm not that mean. I'm mean. I'm not that mean.
Mm.
I'm like, grow over all of your orifices mean. I'm not take away your tools mean.
I just had a thought.
Yeah, I've got questions I don't want to ask.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right, I won't answer them.
There are some things that should just not be voiced.
Some of you are kind of like,
I can't even say that out loud.
I'm gonna sit here and smile. I mean, not quite sure what else to do. There you go.
So while people were reading scrolls, Juliet obviously didn't speak Elvish. Is there anything else in this room that you'd like to look at?
I'm interested in the orrery, but knowing that Sueski is of the stars, it felt very their domain.
Well, I guess I'll come over and look at it with you after that. So why don't you make a precursory inspection?
Yeah, I'll do a little once over.
Okay. Give me an investigation check.
Oh, not bad. 16.
16. So the orrery is constructed of a number of kind of concentric circles with little, planetoids representing things, and in the center, a largely stylized representation of a sun in the center. With your check of a 16, you find that there is a little lock, or like a clasp, on the sun, allowing it the orb to actually be kind of opened up, within which is a large iron chest. On the chest, there is a piece of paper that says "Keep in."
Keep in. Folks, I was just fiddling around with this sun because that's my business. And I found this chest, and it says "Keep in."
I think it's for the best that we don't open it, given the message.
Keep in what?
Up appearances.
Sueski just kind of indicates the house and in a kind of, I don't know, but it's not good kind of
Does
thing.
the writing on the "Keep in" correspond with the scrolls?
Give me. Ooh, what would a handwriting check be? I think insight again, just because it's a person's actions that you're reading into.
15.
Sorry?
15.
15. Yes, I would say that with a 15, you kind of assess the handwriting on the scrolls, particularly the unfinished ones and the diagram that you'd previously found, and you kind of hold it up to the note, and you're fairly certain that I'm not sure where you've picked up. Is it cryptography, calligraphy, handwriting, reading? I don't know where you picked it up, but you're fairly confident that this is by the same hand.
Damn it! I'm gonna look it up.
It's a strange word. I remember.
No, that's from Harry Potter. It's not a thing.
Legitimans.
Let's leave that alone then. If it's from fiction.
Yes.
I don't know, because the message we got to come here felt like we trusted it and we shouldn't have. So if they're saying to keep it in, Why should we trust that?
Well, we need to find a way to get out of here. If it's just a trap, and we're all just trapped in here, and we're all gonna.
I think that I can dispel the magic on the door again, like the way we got in.
We should do that and go. If it's a solid trap.
You consider that maybe whatever was in here wanted you to dispel the magic when we were outside, and maybe not so much now.
Well, sorry, I can't remember from the first episode if I had to roll for it or if it was easy.
I think you can roll for it.
No, you didn't have to roll because you cast it at 3rd level, didn't you?
Yeah, it's a 3rd level spell.
Yes, you didn't have to roll.
But
It does, of course, presume that it doesn't get harder every time you try.
Yeah. It could get harder, but at this point in time, it's the only thing I know that we might be able to do. It's either that or we go down to the basement and out that door through those things.
How big is the chest with the keep in?
The orrery, I would say, is a good. The center of it, the sun, is a good couple of feet across, and the chest occupies as much of that space as it can. Not being mathematically minded or knowing enough about it, I'm just going to say 1.5 feet.
But there's no way to remove it from the orrery. It's like welded in there or something.
So the lid of the orrery kind of goes and is a vertical thing. Without damaging the orrery, no. If you didn't really give a toss about that, then maybe.
It does occur to me that whoever is occupying this house wanted to be kept in. Their goals do not seem to be entirely aligned with ours.
Swarovski shrugs.
Thoughts? Just looking at everybody.
So, if it says keep in, does that mean keep it in the round thing? I don't know what an orrery is. Barley does not.
It's planets kind of arrayed. It's like a visual of the solar system. Oh, sorry.
Liz knows, Barley does not know.
So, I mean, you can see it, so it doesn't matter. Yeah.
Sorry. I wasn't sure if you explained to me. I was like, I know what an orrery. Anyway, do we have to keep it in the round thing? Could we open it in the round thing? As long as the chest stays there, it is in. We have followed the note. We could open it. When I say we, I mean like not me. I won't open it.
Could try and unlock it. Should I try and unlock it?
Is it locked?
The note's over the lock, so you wouldn't be able to tell without moving it.
Okay.
I'll take the note off the lock.
As soon as you remove the note, you break the seal, and something peach-coloured starts to bubble out, and the lid slightly raises, and this oozing substance bubbles out, fills the bottom of the orrery and bubbles out. And you notice that within this liquidy, peach-coloured ooze, there are teeth, sharp teeth, whole mouths, in fact. And it bubbles and piles and oozes on the floor.
No. Sorry.
Can we close the orrery?
It could have been more specific, that note.
Now's the time for them to be helpful.
Better. Do not remove.
No.
That's all we needed.
For me, it shows a real failure to understand the adventurer's mind. That is asking for trouble.
Do not push the button. I'm going to push the button.
As this creature forms in front of you, the pile slowly kind of dollops and forms this large creature with many gibbering mouths.
No.
think that's where we're probably going to have to call it.
Oh, just in time for bed.
Sweet dream.
So,
Well,
Don't worry, once we kill it, I'll drop wizard scrolls.
yeah, my problem is that we're going to have a time killing it without using spells. Yay!
I mean, how am I going to get through being my, this horror one-shot if I don't inflict horrific penalties on you for doing things?
Yeah.
Yay. No, it's good.
So, if you enjoyed tonight, we play every Monday and Tuesday from 6 p.m. GMT, BST, or 10 a.m. PT, PST.
Oh, we're in GMT again.
I'm just going to redo that.
Thank you.
If you enjoyed tonight, we play every Monday, Tuesday from 6 p.m. GMT, and other times as well. I believe from about 10 a.m. in other lands across oceans. I mean, all sorts of times across the world. You work it out because I can't. I'm frazzled. We also play.
We're honest.
We also play on Monday. So our other show is The Reaping of Golden Fields, which I believe began last week as well as this one.
Yes, it did.
So check that one out. That's a fantastic adventure DM'd by our very own Chris there. You can also join us on Saturday, again from 6 p.m. GMT, for Talk Together, the chat show where we interview our players, DMs, and other TTRPG industry voices via the medium of rolling a dice, because, when you've got shtick, you stick to it. All of our shows are streamed at twitch.tv/rolltogetherrpg, and you can find all of our content archived at youtube.com/rolltogetherrpg. There are also podcast versions of all of our shows available everywhere. Just search for Roll Together RPG, or if you can't find it, let us know, and we will endeavor to ensure that next time you can listen to it in your favored medium, and not what I'm guessing, having gotten to this point in the show, your second favorite medium. Massive thank you to our D20 Club on Patreon. There'll be a link in chat now, so do join them. Every penny helps us to make all of the fantastic content that we do. A big thank you again to our sponsors, Hero Forge, Ultra Pro, and Elderwood Academy, and our supporters, D&D Beyond, Idle Champions of the Forgotten Realm, and Warriors of Waterdeep, and Level Up Dice. And don't forget, we're all over the socials with Roll Together RPG, as the username, do the socials. I'm really bad at the socials. You'll see me occasionally tweet something, or if you're lucky enough to be on my Facebook. Thank you for watching. And we will see you for watching. Yeah, sanitize. This is how you
So
avoid
welcome,
getting
Sean.
flesh-creeping plague.
You're welcome.
This is what happened to Eltrion. You did not sanitize it before he put the cloak on. So learn your lesson. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon. Happy birthday to me.